morning, guys. Hope you're feeling good. Hope you're having another blessed day. What I want to talk about today is the topic and the conversation. It's been had many times before, but I'm going to put my little spin on it and hope you can get something from it. How we do one thing is how we do everything. Now that topic, that idea can be scary to many different people. It can be frightful, and I get it, like it is to me at times. It has been for sure at different times in my life, probably when I first heard it in particular, right? But here's the idea. We either raise to the level of discipline which we hold true to ourselves, the standard that we are continuously upholding, or we lower ourselves and succumb to the level of discipline that we allow ourselves to sink to, right? So what does this mean? Well, it means that if we constantly are striving to do better, striving to have more, to create more of a life of our choosing, by making the decisions that lead to that, right? We're facing the pain. We are adjusting and reiterating however we need to the pain, to come at it more efficiently, to come at it with more grit, with more determination, with more efficiency. We're always going to be striving to have more. We're always going to be working on ourselves in a way that actually gets us to where we want to go, in a way, right? We're always trying to uphold that standard. I've heard it said before as well, and I understand this completely. If you're not missing the standard sometimes simply because it's so high, it's not high enough. All right? Like, you got to set your goals so high that you're emptying the bucket every day. You are constantly exhausting yourself and getting after what you need to get after to be that individual, to have that success, to be someone who has that future that you want. You got to hold that standard. You got to make it a way of life if you're really trying to be a disciplined person and have the most sustainable results, right? Now, on the backside, the opposite of all this, right? This is where most people stay their entire life, or they do well for a while and then they slip into this. This becomes their norm. This is where you choose to slack off in one area and it rolls into everything else. You choose to take the easier route in something that has a large impact on other things, or it has something to do with something important to you, right? Now, don't get me wrong. We must be selective on what we put energy into. And we don't have to do as absolutely best as we can in absolutely everything and drain our energy as much as possible on tasks that aren't that important to us. I don't mean that. And that's something I've had to learn, right? Because you strive so hard to get away from the ease, the path of least resistance, and be that hard person who can do more. And you end up wasting time and energy on things that aren't important, right? Instead of being more focused on those things that are important. Instead of refocusing, realigning with what it is that is actually fruitful for you, right? But back to my point is, what happens is, say, you got your family, you got your work, you got your working out, right? For simplicity of the conversation. Excuse me. You got your family, the family's going well, you got an amazing little family, you got a good job, you're making good money, job, business, whatever it is. Something inclines you, the comfortability of life. You make some friends, you go to different situations. Something inclines you to slow down on your working out, on your body, the focus on your body and your physical self. All right, you start drinking more, you start eating more, you start sleeping in more, and you slowly but surely forget about the reasons why you worked out, why working out was a part of your identity up to that point. Well, it's gonna bleed into everywhere else. You see, because we're lowering that standard. We're bound to succumb to that lower level that we are now holding for ourselves, right? Now, it's one thing if everything in the world shits itself, and for lack of better words, and you have to change your focus for the time period. You got the family, you got the job, and God forbid your wife or your kid gets a sickness, an illness of some kind. Yeah, well, that, and it takes a ton more of your time to hang out with them and take care of them. But yeah, well, that might throw you off. That might 100% throw you off, and rightfully so, right? But when it's just the comfortability, when it's just, well, it's easier. It's easier not to do it. I'm good. I look good. I'm all right. My wife loves me for me. Motherfucker, did you start working out for your wife, or did you start working out for yourself? Did you start working out for your kids so you can be that person who can protect them, who can play with them, who will live a long life with them? All these whys that are easy to glaze over when they're not cemented deep into who you are. That's why it's so difficult for many people to start working out and start doing these different tasks that take determination and consistency to build. We don't realize, right? It's the whole, have, do, be, rather than be, do, have. You got to be that person. You got to realize your why. You got to understand why you want to do things and internalize it. Slowly but surely. Back to my entire point. We must be conscious of what level, what standard we are going for. What our actions say about the standard by which we are holding for ourselves. Because if we don't, we are very likely to succumb to that lower level and not live a life of depth and fulfillment. Or at least as much depth and fulfillment you can have. Right? And when those things happen, and you slowly fall into the trap of not chasing greatness, not chasing abundance. You kind of just get comfortable, and the easy things become your prerogative, what you're seeking. That's when things crumble. From lower levels of life all the way to the higher levels of life. You look at a great business that was amazing one day and how it crumbled. Look at what happened with the money, who got comfortable, who got in charge, and who got paid and who didn't get paid. All right, who fell off of their consistency and their disciplines simply because they got paid more. Right? The biggest companies in the world that make it as far as they do, that doesn't happen. They eliminate that before it ever happens. Or at least they try to. So, decide for yourself that you're going to hold a different standard. You're going to raise the standard of your living. Slowly, right? You don't have to do it all at once. In fact, you shouldn't try and do it all at once. That's not for most people. I didn't do it all at once. This has been a process for me. A process of recreating my self-image, recreating my habitual patterns, what I was used to doing for a greater end, for a higher standard to hold. Because if I didn't, and like I was succumbing to those lower and lower levels where I was in more and more mental, spiritual pain because of the avoidance of what is important to me, what could possibly be important to me. I was just pleasurable. Make the decision to be someone who takes care of yourself. Someone who raises the standard of living and strives for it and goes for it every single day and doesn't get knocked off when you don't hit it one day. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So continue to be yourself, but be your best self. Be that individual who has the future that you desire. Because you can, because you should, because you must. Be fulfilled. Live a life of purpose and passion, ambition, and just be that person, man. Y'all have a great day. Y'all go crush it. Y'all go do what you gotta do. You got this. Let's go.